Hello everyone, welcome to the channel once again. I'm continuing with the Sitecore series, and in this video we'll cover some more terms. So let's get started. The first term is contact segmentation. So what is contact segmentation? This is a way of classifying site visitors according to their preferences or any other property. So if you want to know more about contact segmentation, you can go to this Sitecore site and you can see how you can create a segment. So when you create a segmented list, or you can further segment the contacts in the included list source by adding a saved segment to the list. For example, if you want to regularly target contacts from Scandinavia in an email campaign, you can create and save a segment that include all contacts in your database that are from Scandinavian country, and then you can send mail to them. So how do you manage this list? It is given there. You can read more about it. I'll move to the next term. What is content editor? So it's a user interface of Sitecore experience platform where items are organized in a content tree, and that can be used to create and manage the contents of website. It provides the user with direct access to the fields of an item. So this is what content editor. If you want to read more about it, you can go to the site content editor. So what does it say? It says the content editor is an editing tool that you can use to manage and edit all the contents on your website. It is designed for more experienced content authors who are familiar with Sitecore and the functionalities that it contains. So what are the parts of content editor? You see the ribbon, the content tree, the content area. So this is the ribbon, content tree, and the content area. So this is explained very beautifully here. If you want to go in detail, you can read this. I'll move to the next term. The third term is content profiling. So what is content profiling? It's a practice of qualifying your online content in a highly specific manner for the purpose of delivering individual experience to your customers through adaptive personalization. So what is adaptive personalization? I have covered in the last video. You can see that. And if you want to read more about content profiling, you can go to this page. What is content profiling? As you can see, you can use content profiling to categorize your content items according to different areas of interest. This lets you track a contact's behavior as they navigate through your website to see which type of content they are interacting with. This can help you to gain a better understanding of the interest of your contacts. So what are the basic elements of that? Profile keys, profile values, profile cards. You can read more about this. So this is how you can increase the user experience. So this is what content profiling is, and I'll move to the next term. What is core database? So it's a standard database that contains the items that define the Sitecore user interfaces and support the Sitecore extension for .NET security. So this is what core database is, and if you want to read more about it, core database page. And what does it say? It says core database stores the configuration and setting for Sitecore user interface, as well as store information such as user preferences, event queues, and more. Developers may extend or customize items in core database, for example, part of creating or modifying the interface. Now the note is definitely will read, changing settings in core database is often done as a part of the solution deployment. Although you can access the core database via Sitecore management interface, this is not recommended in production. So you see, this is not recommended in production. So what are the supported? And it also stores standard Microsoft ASP.NET membership table. So sometimes people ask, does it store membership table or not? Yes, it does. So, and whether you can host it on Azure? Yes, of course you can. So you can host it on SQL Server also and SQL Azure also. And this is the hierarchy which it has shown. So core database, content management, all interact with this. So you can read more about this on this page. I'll move to the next term. So what is dynamic binding or static binding sometimes? So what is dynamic binding and what is static binding? So what is dynamic binding? The practice of defining a placeholder in a layout or sub layout and associating different presentation components to the placeholder for different items. The resolving of which component will be assigned to which placeholder occurs dynamically at the time of runtime. Like it happens at the time of runtime. So if you want to know the difference between static binding and dynamic binding, you can go to this page. You can go to this page here, and it has very beautifully explained. Static binding means adding a rendering to a page in a raw way. Example, you cannot change this dynamically. You have to change the code if you want to up and other the control. But here it's a static. In dynamic binding, you replace it with placeholder. So dynamic binding means on a page you will have a placeholder to put your rendering, and then this is how you do it. After the content editor or experience, you will be able to dynamically add any rendering you like to the main placeholder. So this is the difference. If you want more content on this, you can go to this site, and it is like very beautifully defined. Static binding, what is the static binding, and dynamic binding. As you can see, dynamic binding goes by its name. Various page components, renderings, and sublayouts are bound to their respective contents dynamically on runtime. The binding take place using placeholders. Various placeholders as per requirement are added to the layout and the sublayout, and different required presentation components are assigned the placeholder key as per the rendering location. This is a way the rendering location of the various presentation components can be managed as per requirement and changed on runtime. So this is what dynamic binding is, and this is the static one. You will not be able to change it. There is no placeholder. So you can read this if you want to. I am moving to the next term. What is edit frame? So it allows developers to define a region of a page to add a toolbar that reacts to clicking. This allows a user to edit complex fields or fields that are not displayed on the page. So this is what edit frame is. If you want to read more about it, you can go to the site. Edit frame. Okay, so using this edit frame, what does it say? It says edit frame in experience editor is a feature that you can use to give user front-end access to the field that are not directly accessible. So you can give users the access to the field which are not directly accessible, either because they are not visible or they are of a type which are complex or not directly front-end editable. So this is how you do it. Parameters are data source, button title, and other things. So this is how you use edit frames. And what is edit frame? Here also, this site I found that it has also explained edit frames. I'll give the link in the description. You can read it if you wish. I'll move to the next term. What is experience editor? So it's a user interface of Sitecore experience platform where items are displayed as they appear on web page and can be used to create and manage the content of websites. Experience editor is an inline editing tool. So everybody who is in anyhow related to Sitecore would know experience editor. So what does the Sitecore site says? We'll check that as well. So Sitecore site says the experience editor is a what you see, what you get editor that allow you to easily make changes to items directly on page. You can edit all the items that are visible on the page, text, graphic, logos, link, and so. So this is how the ribbon, the customize, improve the ribbon load time, all these things are there. But yeah, this is this I anyhow I'll cover in my general playlist. So you can read it more if you want to. I'll move to the next term. So what is facet? So it's a way of refining search result by categorizing the items returned by search, for example by authors, language, or created date. Facets group and classify content items by the language version or the date or the created date. or the template they are based on. User uses facets to progressively filter and limit search results after refining searches. Sitecore shows the facets of search result to right of the search result itself. Sitecore shows the facets of search results to the right of the search result itself. So, and what does Sitecore site says about facets? Sitecore says the facets group and classify content items, for example, by language that they are in, the date on which they are created, or the template they are based on. User use the facets to filter and limit search results after running the searches. Sitecore shows the facets of search result to the right of the search result itself. So you can see these facets. So how you can use it if you want, like these are the language facets: Chinese, Danish, English. So if you want to filter it, you can use this to filters. So author also, size also, filters, what are, how many are there, you can, if you want to, you can read more about this. So that's all for this video. If you like the videos, please do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.